Welcome to today's blog topic, which is on conflict, in particular the 4 reasons conflict happens at work and what you can do about it. Conflict gets a bad rap in the workplace. When we ask people, mostly what they say about conflict is negative. They are afraid of the drama, they're afraid of the anger, potential retribution, broken relationships, all the things that happen when conflict comes to sort of an ugly head. The truth of the matter is conflict doesn't have to be a bad thing. It actually can help us to be more creative, more innovative, to solve problems more effectively, because in this case, what conflict does, it gives us the opportunity to look at multiple approaches instead of just one way of doing something. When we did the research initially a few years ago, the top 4 reasons that we found for conflict at work were first, differences in personality, styles, perspectives, and opinions. Secondly, it was perceived broken policies and procedures, so not following the rules. Third, it was miscommunication, no big surprise there. And fourth, competition. So let's talk a little bit about each of those 4 areas. Number 1, when we think about differences in personality, styles, perspectives, and opinions, oftentimes what happens is we look at someone else's point of view and we immediately start judging whether or not we think that it's better than ours, worse than ours. There's some way that it puts us at risk to accept that another person is coming from a completely different position. We've kind of been brought up, I think, to believe that one of us has to be wrong and the other one has to be right, that there can't be some middle ground. And so one of the first tips around dealing with differences in personalities is to be more open. One, to understand that we don't have all the answers and that there is experience and wisdom and talent that is very different than the things that we bring to the table, and that we would be better off if we could use those things to a positive and holistic end. The second, perceived broken rules or policies or procedures. One of the things that I think when I consider that is that really we're judging each other in many ways. We're thinking about whether or not someone else is, in fact, again, in the wrong. And I really believe that the best tip for handling a problem like that we encounter at work is to get curious about it, to really wonder, what is it about this policy or procedure that is creating this need on someone's part to go against it or to color outside the lines. And if we were to be curious about where they are coming from and what's hard about it, we might learn something really important, something that could be helpful to the bigger picture, to the organization as a whole. Or we may just learn that the individual has not all the information that they need, and maybe there's a way that we can help support them in getting what they do need. So the first step is to avoid judgment, the second is to stay curious, and the third is to learn what you can and see how that can be used for the common good. Third, miscommunication. Again, there's a real similar theme here. When we miscommunicate with each other, typically it's because we translate information based on our experiences, and that creates a lot of assumptions and, again, judgment around what that other person is feeling or doing, or their approach in the workplace. So when there's a miscommunication, the first question I ask myself is, what's my role in it? Is there something that I could have done to avoid this miscommunication in some way? And if the answer is yes, I can rectify that right away. And then once I've taken personal accountability and ownership, I can just get curious about what's at the root of this, what really created it, and what can we do going forward to avoid the miscommunication. The last, competition, is a little trickier. In some ways, I believe that there is that mentality that resources are scarce, so scarcity mentality, and that means that we're all, fighting for limited resources, limited opportunities. And the truth of the matter is, competition is a good thing. It can actually cause all of us to raise our game to a new level. If we evaluate it objectively without being afraid that someone else is going to win and that means we have to lose, we can in fact look for ways to use some of the effective tools or approaches or skills that our colleagues are using that's having them rise to the top. And we can also change our perspective on it. Instead of the glass is half empty for us, maybe the glass is actually half full for the organization as a whole. We need people that can succeed so that we can succeed collectively. So for the most part, you can see that, in my opinion, the tips for most of the causes of conflict in the workplace, the ways that we can be more successful and effective are to be more open, to be less judgmental, to make less assumptions, to stay curious with each other, and to really embrace the collective success of the organization and not believe that one of us has to win and one of us has to lose. That's it for now. Conflict and the 4 tips for how you can be more effective at dealing with it at work.